Welcome to Iconic Leadership, the podcast for female entrepreneurs who know they're here to lead, not just build a business. This show is for women stepping into the Alpha Queen era, where leadership becomes identity, power is embodied, and success is created from the inside out. Here, we explore sovereign leadership, expansion, vision, purpose, business, and the inner work that is required to build an empire that fits the woman you are becoming. Strategy matters, but who you are matters more. I'm Carissa Atkins, and this is Iconic Leadership. Welcome to the new standard of the Alpha Queen power. Hey there, hey ladies, welcome back to Iconic Leadership, the show for badass women who are truly looking to find their voice, stand in their power, and become their most iconic versions of themselves. So today's conversation is for the woman who's been thinking, I want to host a retreat, or I want to create experiences, or I want to bring, insert your ideal client together. And I love that you are thinking on this level, because if you've been listening to this series over the last couple of weeks, right, I've been sharing the diary of a $500,000 speaker, and we've really been talking about how to use your story to impact more lives, create more income for yourself. And so naturally, I want to kind of talk about retreats, because not a lot of people see that as a form of speaking. Although when you're getting people together, you're telling stories, you're sharing, your most authentic self with people. And of course, retreats kind of falls into that. So you already know, right, that a room can impact lives. Right. And you know that I'm a huge believer in creating rooms to grow your company, whether that's a room on a stage, create your own room, maybe on a podcast platform, or just creating your own rooms through retreats. Proximity and connection are huge when it comes to growing your business. And there's nothing like being in the room with the right people in a very curated space. Okay, so let me say this right out of the gate. Retreats are not vacations, especially for the host. They are not just a cute Airbnb, a pretty location, and a loose schedule. Retreats are one of the most powerful and yet one of the most misunderstood ways to build your business. And I'm not speaking from theory here. Over the last 4 years, I have hosted 3 to 4 retreats every single year, and every single one of them has been sold out. Some of those retreats have been client only. Some of the Alpha Queen Collective retreats have been clients plus invited guests, right? Maybe they're friends. And some retreats that we have hosted have been completely open to new women and bringing people into the AQC. But every single one of those has a different strategy behind it, right? Maybe it's a strategy just for your current clients. Maybe the strategy is clients plus, new enrollments, or maybe one is just getting and kicking off maybe a beautiful group program with a all-inclusive retreat, right? They all have different strategies behind them, because this is what most people don't understand. There's no one size fits all to a retreat. Like I said, some clients are about client retention. Some clients are about deepening relationships, strengthening sisterhood, enrolling people into your programs. And that is just one of the core values inside the Alpha Queen Collective is, sisterhood. And that's what I absolutely love about retreats. No matter what kind of retreat you're creating, you're bringing people together and you're strengthening, the bond that you guys have, whether it's a high level mastermind, a sisterhood like mine, it does not matter. Inside retreats is where you get to create that. Because when you create powerful experiences for your clients, they stay, they grow with you, they build relationships with each other, and that's how you create longevity in your company. Then we have retreats where clients get to bring their friends, which means you're now building trust. You're creating exposure, and you're naturally opening the doors for new clients to come in and join. And then we have the retreats that are purely lead generation. These are new rooms, new women, new relationships getting built. But here's the key. None of those types of retreats are random. All of those types of retreats are very intentional and very purposeful. So when someone says, to me, they're like, I just want to host a retreat. My first thought is, okay, but why? What's the purpose behind your retreat? What's the intention that you're creating? What is the experience that you want people to experience when they come together with you? Because if you don't know your purpose of your retreat, you will build something that looks good, but doesn't actually work. It doesn't actually convert. And let me be real with you, ladies. The only wrong way to do a retreat is to throw something together and hope to God that it all works out. Because retreats are not something you just wing it, right? A lot of them are like, yeah, I'm just going to go and show up. And I'm like, no, no, no. That's the biggest thing that could set you up for failure. You cannot just wing a retreat. They are a full experience, a full container, a full transformation. When I think about a retreat, I don't just think about what are we going to be doing? I think about who is the woman when she leaves this experience. Because you're not just planning an event, you're building a journey. From that moment, she says yes. To the moment she arrives, to the moment she leaves, every single piece of this journey, of this retreat process matters. And this is where, again, most people miss the mark. They overschedule, they overteach, they try and pack so much value into every second of the day. And what happens is that people get overwhelmed. They don't truly integrate, they are not really connecting. They don't actually transform when they're in information overload. And trust me, you guys, I've had to learn this the hard way. I have hosted so many retreats that I have shoved about 10 pounds of shit into a 5 pound bag. And when I host these retreats and when I survey my clients, they always say, Carissa, we absolutely love the experiences that you create, but we learn so much, our brains literally hurt. Right. And that's not because I feel like I have to prove myself, guys. I want, like, I would love to create and go to retreats that are organized and that are, built to evolve myself. I love a really full retreat, but I realize that most women cannot handle that full of a retreat, right? They want open space, they want connection space, they want fireside chats, they want moments where we can cry together, build lives together, build sisterhood and connection together. And I've learned that. And something also that I've learned over time is that not everything and every minute needs to be filled. Some of my most powerful moments at our retreats happen in the in-between sessions. It's the conversations, it's the breakthroughs, it's the connections. That's what makes a really, really powerful retreat. Now, let's talk about something, that people don't necessarily want to hear. Okay. When it comes to retreats, I'm going to encourage you not to cut corners. Your retreat is a direct reflection of your brand. So inside the Alpha Queen, collective, we book mansions. We don't just book the average Airbnb. And if you're like, why? Well, because we're building million-dollar women. The environment matters. We've all been to a hotel. A hotel is a hotel, but you can have a hotel that creates an epic experience for you, something that has been co-created, alongside, their staff, their team, you, everything, right? From the moment you book to the experience that you get to have, whether it's the email, congratulations, we're so excited to welcome you, all the way to the very end. This retreat, your retreat, is a direct reflection of who you be, the brand you have built, and the women that you are calling in. So you can again have two hotels. Both will do the same thing. Both will give you a place to lay your head down at night, but the experience is totally different. And so when women build retreats, right, you can have one woman building a retreat and the other woman building a retreat, but one is going to be very intentional, very thought throughout, right, from the meals to the workouts to everything. So, in the environments that I like to create, we bring in photographers, videographers, we bring in guest experts. We create experiences that women will never, ever forget. We've had paint sessions, we've had photo shoots, we've had, sound bath healers. We've went on, in Arizona, I remember one time I hired out an expert who is an expert in, in mountain climbing, and we all took a 5-hour mountain climb experience. And we bonded over physical leadership, right? Physical expansion. And you guys, this all matters. And it's because it's not just about what they learn in the experience, it's about how they feel, who they become, how this experience has challenged them and stretched them. Like I said, from the workouts in the morning to laying their head down at night. You have to create an experience. So when I think about how I create my experiences, it really does come down to the Alpha Queen Collective's core values and what we believe in, right? We believe that women can have it all, the body, the business, the bank account, the relationships, the fulfillment, the happiness, the joy. And so when I create a retreat, all of my retreats start out with a morning workout because I believe that health is a foundational piece of business. Without our health, we have nothing, right? So every single morning, I'm either leading a workshop, one of my clients that at that experience is leading a workshop, or maybe I bring in an expert in maybe yoga or something that I don't normally do. Right. So then we talk about, after our workout, then let's talk about the food that we serve. Oh my goodness. The food that we serve is healthy food. It's whole food. It's nutritious food. It's, everything down from the food, the menu, all the way to how we are going to sit together around a dinner table, enjoying conversations. The energy that we hold at our retreats is unmatched. Everything is very intentional, you guys, everything. Because you're not just hosting a retreat, you are leading a room. You are helping women or your ideal client evolve, get an outcome, transform, whatever it is. And it requires leadership, right? You hosting a retreat requires vision and structure and execution. You have to be willing to create the experience that someone will never ever forget, but also lead that experience. Now, let's talk about some of the biggest mistakes that I've seen women make when it comes to, creating a retreat. Okay, so mistake number one is being overscheduled, right? Minute by minute is planned. And yes, I believe that the minute and the hour should be planned. But for me, that also looks like, okay, this whole hour is going to be for reflection time. This hour is going to be sitting by the pool, relaxing time, right? So I know the experience that I want to create, but so many retreat hosts overschedule, overpack. And trust me, I've tried to do that too. I've learned those things the hard way. And that's part of the process is you obviously have to say yes to creating a retreat so that you can even start to learn what you like and what you don't. Okay. So another major mistake that when it comes to retreats is not planning it in enough time, right? I plan 3 to 4 months for anything local, like stateside in the US. I plan 6 months out for anything that's international because we do both, right? We've done couples retreats in Punta Cana. We're getting ready to do one probably in Greece. I'm still looking for, all of those spaces. But whether it's a man mansion in Phoenix, or Scottsdale to international, right? I see so many people not truly plan. Therefore, they may have a hard time filling their retreat space. You have to give people enough runway to either do payment plans, or making sure that they can line up daycare for kids, or they line up an extra staff or team when they're gone for their business. So you have to give people the proper time to plan a retreat. Not to mention you need to be able, to plan it, every detail. You need to be able to say, do I want to put slides together? Do I need to hire vendors out? Do not wait last minute and say, you know what, I just want to run a retreat next month. You may have a hard time filling it, or, you may not, but it may feel very, very last minute put together. Another big mistake that I see clients, or retreat hosts make is, again, there's no intention. They're just like, yeah, we're going to talk about business. And then it's like so free flow. That, you guys, drives me crazy. That drives very ambitious A-type personality women crazy. Like, I want to know what the days look like. I want to know when we're eating. I want to know when, we're going to work out, or if there's space to work out. I want to know all of the details. And it's not because I'm trying to like control anything. It's because I know that I need to, preserve my energy, or make sure that I'm eating, or, like, I want to know that as an attendee. So therefore, as the retreat host, you guys, you need to be putting intention into what you're creating. Every single one of the AQC retreats, or even single mastermind days, I always start out with the outcome. What do I want women to walk away feeling, believing, knowing, and understanding? So based on those, it may be more strategic, right? Maybe we're creating our 90-day, roadmap to success, or we're creating a 3-month content creation plan. Or maybe it's more of like a mindset reprogramming, where we want more nervous system regulation. We want more breath work. We want more vision casting, vision, and it's vision setting, seed planting, right? So please put some intention into that, but also give yourself the space to really think about, what is the purpose of this experience? Okay. Every retreat that I create, and again, we create 3 to 4 retreats or even mastermind days, gets more and more refined. It gets more intentional. They become more powerful, which is exactly why our retreats at the AQC are complete sellouts, right? So we do a lot of client retention type retreats because sisterhood is one of our core values, right? So when creating those bonds, I'm always thinking, we need at least one a quarter, because as we're enrolling new people into our ecosystem, right? Whatever program they come into, we want them experiencing something together. That sisterhood is very, very important to us. So we try and plan maybe a 1-day mastermind. If we just onboarded a bunch of people, we may host something in a few months. Like, gosh, I just brought on 8 clients in less than 2 weeks. And so, in 2 months, I may host something that's very intimate. Come together, let's bond, let's create, let's cry, let's move our bodies, let's build our businesses, whatever it is, whatever the theme is. We want to make sure that new clients get access to the sisterhood right away, because we know that the more they're connected to sisterhood, the more, the better results that they're getting, the closer that they feel bonds. And these bonds get women coming back over and over and over again. So when I go to list out our 2026 or 2027 retreats and mastermind days, we've got people putting deposits down on the ones that they want, because my retreats are not necessarily focused on how many people I can get there, but more focused on who they be, what they become, what they create, etc. So our retreats are typically more intimate, 10 to 12 women. Our couples retreats is 8 to 10 couples, and our mastermind days are anywhere from 12 to 15, because we want women connecting with one another. We want every woman feeling seen and heard. So when people put a shit ton of people at a retreat space, or at a mastermind, and no one can really truly get to know people, because you're always branching off and side conversations are happening, like, that's just not what I'm about. And so I really, really love putting so much intention into it. Okay. which then, of course, creates such epic experiences. So people want to buy in right away. They're like, "Oh, $500 for this retreat. I want this one. I want to talk about my money mindset. Oh, this one's all around building our strategic business plan. Yes, I want that one." Right? Women are putting deposits down a year out so that they know that they can get on the calendar and they can get to this retreat. Okay. So that's what I want to encourage you to start creating if you're thinking about retreats inside your company. This could be a 2-day retreat, a 5-day retreat, an 8-day retreat. Again, think about your ideal client. What do they have time for? What do they have the bandwidth for? And what is the experience? When I did my money mindset relationship around money activation retreat, right? It was a full 3-day activation experience where I brought in healers because we were really getting to the core of all of our root money problems. We were shifting paradigms, we were shifting limiting beliefs, and therefore we didn't pack a ton of extra stuff in because we knew we'd be going deep into the psyche and really figuring out some shit, right? And that alone can make our brains just get so tired at the end of the day. So we like to just be very, very intentional, whether it's the themes, the food, the fitness, all of it. Okay. If you take nothing away from this podcast episode, I want you to know that if you plan on hosting retreats, you need to be purposeful, you need to be intentional, and you need to really think about how you want to have someone experience you and your brand. Okay. And you guys, this is the difference between, again, someone who just wants to host a retreat once and someone who builds a retreat brand. Our clients know that they want to be at almost every experience. And when we have over 50 clients inside of our ecosystem, like 50 coaching clients that show up on our Zoom calls, we know that they want to get in on that retreat. So we rarely do retreats that are like more like conversion events. If I'm going to do a conversion event, I'm just going to host a 1 or a 2-day experience, not necessarily a retreat. All right, because the another mistake that I've seen women make is they invite all their clients and then every client has a different personality. They don't really mesh well, and then someone feels left out at a retreat. And again, that's not what I want them to experience. So I want to make sure that these women already know, like, and trust each other and that their personalities will mesh well together. Okay, because I'm sorry, when you get 10 to 12 women in a room, for like 5 days straight, you've got to make sure that they're going to get along. You've got to make sure. Okay. There's no mean girl mentality here in the AQC. But I also want to just kind of, you know, bring this in is that there are really powerful ways, right? Retreats are really powerful ways to build relationships, create trust, and move people into long-term clients versus short-term. And that's where real business is built, you guys. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to host a retreat, then I want you to hear me very clearly. Do not take hosting a retreat lightly. This is not something that you just dabble in and like wish, hope, and pray that it's all going to work itself out. This is something you need to lead from the inside out because your retreat, it will either elevate your brand or expose your gaps in your company and your leadership and in, who you be. There is no in between, right? It's either going to elevate your brand or it's going to expose all, of you. If you're unorganized, if you're not structured, if you didn't put planning and intention into it, if you're like, yeah, we forgot about lunch today, right? That's going to expose so much of who you are in your leadership that people may not come back, or it will really elevate your brand like they have mine. So if you're ready to run and host your retreat the right way, if you're ready to create an experience that actually transforms and converts, then I want to support you. I've put together a full retreat blueprint. Everything from casting out your vision, creating your strategy, all of the logistics, the experience design, and what actually makes a retreat work. And all you have to do in order to get this, I think it's like a 12-page ebook, you guys. It's everything that you need to know about hosting your own experiences and your own retreats, not necessarily events. I'm talking more retreats here, okay? Mastermind days, things like that. It's like a beautiful, beautiful resource. And all you have to do is go over to my Instagram page, which is alpha_queen_empire, EMPIRE, alpha_queen_empire. Follow me on Instagram and then send me a DM with the word retreat, and I will send you this beautiful ebook. Okay. And if you're ready, ladies, to go to the next level in business, if you're ready for your next $100,000 or your first $100,000 in business, if you're ready to really evolve into your most iconic leader, if you're looking for that next room where sisterhood is really celebrated and supported, then I want to encourage you to book a 15-minute clarity call with me. Right? We are going to map out exactly what getting you to that $100,000, the $250,000, or the $1 million could look like for your company. We're going to map out wherever you are wanting to go, right? We start with your goals, and I ask you what your biggest challenges are, and then I will help you map out where you are leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table, whether it's speaking, retreats, events, whatever. Guys, I want to help you grow your business because we do not have to build businesses alone. Okay. So book your 15-minute clarity call with me. You guys, all of the links can be below. You can follow me on Instagram. Again, alpha_queen_empire. Come over there, follow my page, and then send me a DM that says the word retreat. And I promise, no ifs, ands, buts about it, I will send you my ebook. Okay. But you've got to start taking some ownership and responsibility. If you want to host retreats, you're going to have to, do some work, reach out and say, hey, Carissa, I heard your episode and I want your ebook on all of the retreats, because I'm telling you guys, retreats can be very, very lucrative and very, very profitable for your company. Okay. So if this episode hit, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and drop your biggest takeaway over on our YouTube channel, or send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, because I want to hear what landed for you. I want to hear about what your retreat goals are, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about retreats, ladies. This is about iconic leadership and the standard you choose to hold. All right. So until the next episode, go keep kicking ass, taking names, stand boldly into your power, and I will see you on another episode of Iconic Leadership. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Iconic Leadership. If today's conversation activated something within you, make sure you subscribe and share this podcast with women who are ready to rise up too. Leaving a review helps this movement reach more women stepping into their power. This is Iconic Leadership.